Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take some interesting source material you send us and we pull out the most valuable, maybe the most fascinating insights for you.
Exactly.
And today we're venturing into a document called Oral Sex Minibook.pdf. Now, this isn't just, a list of moves.
Not at all.
Our mission here is to explore the techniques described, specifically the ones for men, and really try to understand what they reveal about, well, sensual experiences and maybe new ways to think about intimacy.
And what's really striking when you first look at it is um, it's definitely not some dry clinical manual, is it?
No, definitely not.
The sheer number of techniques, like 50 with variations, it immediately signals this emphasis on discovery, on, tailoring things.
Right, personalization.
Yeah, suggest a more nuanced approach where understanding your partner and adapting is really key to, well, a better experience for everyone.
Absolutely. And the book itself kind of guides you. It's got sections like basics, blow by blow, lick by lick.
Different levels of detail.
Exactly. So you can choose how deep you want to go. And importantly, it keeps circling back to communication, right?
Constantly tuning into reactions, talking about it.
Yeah. So for this particular dive, we're going to focus just on those techniques outlined for him. Okay, ready to jump in?
Let's do it. Where do we start?
First up, the windshield wiper.
Okay, so the core idea here is using the tongue back and forth against the frenulum,
The F spot, as they call it.
right, the F spot. And that area, the frenulum, it's super sensitive, lots of nerve endings concentrated right there.
So that motion targets it directly.
Precisely. And it also suggests pairing this with your hands using lube and stroking the lower shaft at the same time.
Ah, okay, so it's a combo.
Yeah, that focused stimulation plus the broader sensation, you can really, heighten things.
Makes sense. The blow-by-blow description gets pretty specific, too. It talks about positioning, like him sitting up, maybe.
Waning back.
Yeah, and you're kneeling. Hands at the base, gentle lip contact, then that sweeping tongue thing.
Focusing on the frenulum, but also the ridge of the head.
Right, and even mentions slightly rotating your head for a smoother motion. What I find kind of interesting is just that image, the windshield wiper. It really nails the key point, doesn't it?
It does. Precision on a really sensitive spot. And that focus on specific anatomy, these highly innervated areas, that's kind of a theme we'll see again.
Moving beyond just general stuff.
Exactly. Understanding the map, so to speak.
Yeah.
And adding the hands brings in that contrast, makes it more comprehensive.
Okay, next. The all-access pass. Sounds ambitious.
It does. The basic idea is stroking and sucking, base to tip. But the interesting twist is extending pleasure to the, quote, inner penis.
Inner penis, how does that work?
Well, this is where it gets fascinating. It involves simultaneously stroking the bulb of the penis, but through the perineum.
Okay, the area between the scrotum and anus.
Right. And stimulating that spot can tap into nerves connected to the prostate, potentially offering a deeper, more internal kind of sensation.
Ah, I see. So it's coordinating external in that deeper pathway.
Exactly. For a potentially more profound experience.
That is intriguing. Reaching those deeper connections externally isn't always top of mind, and they actually give a tip.
Yeah, a practical one.
Yeah,
Suggests practicing the coordinated motion beforehand.
like just mime it.
Kinda, yeah. Maybe just in the air to get the
Mhm.
rhythm down so it feels more natural when you're actually doing it.
That level of detail, it really shows the intention is effectiveness, isn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
And it kind of highlights for the listener, enthusiasm is great, but for techniques like this that need coordination, a little practice can make a big difference.
Moving beyond just instinct.
Yeah, into a more conscious effort,
Yep.
exploring how to maximize things for your partner.
All right, technique 3. The heavyweight. Love the name.
Yeah, it's descriptive. This one involves using your body weight.
Your body weight.
Yeah, to press your tongue against the underside of the penis. It's quite different from like a light licking motion.
How?
Well, the key is your tongue acts almost like an extension of your head. You use the weight of your head to apply firm pressure.
Okay.
The blow-by-blow suggests positioning.
Heh.
Him on his back, you kneeling. And it even says to gently press his penis towards his abs.
To expose the underside better.
Exactly. Then you flatten your tongue at the base, let your head's weight create the pressure, and slide up towards the tip.
Well, exhaling warm air, it says.
Right. Adds another sensory thing. And then as you come back down, you maintain that pressure, the tongue naturally curls a bit.
The contrast they draw with typical licking is what makes it interesting. Sustained, deep pressure.
Spot on. Continuous deep pressure, not just superficial stuff. And the warm air, another layer. It's about engaging more than just your mouth.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. The deep end. This sounds like it's about deep throating.
It is, yeah,
Yeah.
with a specific focus on the sensations of swallowing.
Right. And there's a specific position mentioned.
Yes, to potentially help lengthen the throat, lying on your back, head hanging off the side of the bed.
Okay, that could allow for a deeper reach.
Potentially. And it details his positioning too, maybe
Mhm.
standing and where you put your hands, like on his hips, for better leverage and control.
The instructions guide you through increasing the depth gradually,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you reach a comfortable depth, actually swallowing deeply. 3 times, it says.
Yeah, and alternating those deep swallows with
Yeah.
regular sucking strokes, it encourages a really deliberate swallowing action, maybe creates more suction.
That focus on the swallowing sensation itself is pretty unique.
It is. And what's helpful, I think, is that the book acknowledges gagging.
Oh, good, because that's a real thing.
Totally. It gives practical advice.
Yeah.
Either relax into it if you both enjoy that sensation, or adjust the depth. Or use lubed hands maybe to help reach further if gagging is uncomfortable.
That shows a realistic understanding, provides actual solutions.
Definitely.
Okay, next one has a bit of flair. The French do it better.
Oui?
This involves a specific hand shape, the Eiffel Tower.
Yes, exactly. You use your hands in that shape on the shaft while also performing oral and then kissing down to the testicles.
Okay, walk me through the blow by blow.
So he's sitting maybe in a chair, you're kneeling, you start with kisses, tip all the way down to his balls. It even playfully suggests leaving a lipstick mark.
Ah,
Then the technique involves sucking one testicle into your mouth while using that specific Eiffel Tower hand formation with lube on the shaft.
that visual, the Eiffel Tower with the hands, it's memorable.
It is. And the idea is you create a seal with your palms, slide them up to form that shape over the head
Mm.
while also doing the testicle thing. Sounds like a lot happening at once.
Multisensory, for sure. Intense.
Could be. And the book emphasizes lewd here. It says more lewd allows for greater pressure and suction with that hand technique.
Good reminder. Reducing friction in the right way enhances things.
Absolutely. Doesn't cause discomfort, just adds to the pleasure.
All right, number 6 is mouth screw. This one sounds different. It's about relinquishing control.
Yeah, exactly. You let him guide the whole thing.
So it's built on trust.
Trust and communication, absolutely.
Mhm.
He takes the lead, speed, depth, intensity. Basically, he teaches you exactly what feels best for him.
Okay. How does the setup work?
The blow-by-blow emphasizes you verbally agreeing first, like, I want to do what you want. Then positioning yourself kneeling, ready to follow his direction.
But you still need a safety, right?
Yes, crucially.
Hmm.
It suggests establishing a boundary signal beforehand, maybe hands on his hips, to indicate if it gets too intense.
Got it. Then it's about relaxing and letting him guide you.
Right. Consciously relaxing, focusing on your breathing. What's interesting is that deliberate power shift, the total focus on his preferences.
It really speaks to how personal pleasure is, doesn't it?
Absolutely. What works for one person might not for another. This technique actively encourages that direct feedback loop, learning what your partner uniquely desires.
Okay, now for something more imaginative. The tasty threesome.
Right, but this isn't actually involving a third person. It's a fantasy simulation technique.
Using fingers and tongue to mimic two mouths.
Exactly. That's the key. Coordinated fingers and tongue, plus incorporating full-body touch.
How does it start?
The blow-by-blow suggests blindfolding him first to heighten his other senses.
Makes sense.
Then it describes using lubed fingers on one earlobe while you kiss the other, creating that illusion of 2 points of contact.
Clever.
Then using your two tongues, your actual tongue and your fingers on his penis, while your hands explore everywhere else. Balls, butt, lips, ears, engaging lots of senses.
All over. And adding dirty talk.
Yeah, whispering suggestive things to really build the fantasy, but importantly, the book stresses talking about it afterwards.
A debrief.
Exactly. To make sure everyone feels good, comfortable, reassured. It's still fantasy play.
It really shows how powerful imagination and role play can be in intimacy, doesn't it?
Totally. Exploring desires without needing to literally act them out, and that communication afterwards is just crucial for trust and security.
Okay, technique 8. Wet, warm, and wow. This uses hands as an extension of the mouth.
Yeah, the idea is to use the warmth and wetness of your hands to create a sensation that feels deeper and tighter.
How? By creating a suction tunnel.
That's the term they use, yeah. Pressing your hands firmly against your lips, so your hands become part of this, like, elongated mouth, amplifying the feeling.
Okay, so how do you make this tunnel?
Generous lube on the hands first. Then place them in a prayer position right in front of your face, pressing your thumbs firmly against your lips to make that seal.
Got it.
Then you slowly lower hands and mouth together over the head of his penis, pinky fingers leading. As you slide down tip to base, You keep the pressure with both hands and lips, maintaining that tunnel effect.
That initial contact with the warm, wet hands sounds intense.
Could be. And the idea of them extending the mouth sensation is pretty intriguing. It really highlights combining sensations, not just mouth, not just hands, but how they work together.
The book even mentions breathing heavily as you approach.
Yeah, adds that layer of sensory anticipation for him.
All right, number 9 is silk and suck. Introducing props.
Yes, a tactile element. A silk scarf used with oral sex, focusing on the testicles.
Okay, and there's a specific position.
Uh-huh. You straddle him, giving him a view of your backside,
Yeah.
while you use the scarf on his balls and perform oral.
So he's on his back.
Right. You straddle maybe around his nipple area, facing his feet, then lean forward for the oral part, while simultaneously draping the silk scarf around his testicles.
Using it to tug and stroke.
Gently, yeah.
Yeah.
And it suggests a finishing touch, wrapping the scarf around the base of his shaft as he's getting close.
The novelty of the silk texture plus that dual stimulation, it definitely stands out.
For sure. Different textures can really heighten things. Silk is smooth, soft, creates a unique friction, nice contrast, and the position adds visual stimulation, playfulness.
Okay, technique 10, the three-way. This sounds like sensory overload.
Kind of the point, yeah. Simultaneously pleasuring the head, the shaft, and the scrotum or perineum, all at once.
How do you manage all that?
Well, the key practical tip is to alternate your hand use between the shaft and the perineum.
To avoid hand cramps.
Exactly. Smart advice. So the blow-by-blow starts with tracing a figure 8 on his perineum with, say, 3 lubed fingers, while your other hand cups and gently tugs his balls.
Okay, hands are busy. What's the mouth doing?
Mouth is focused on the upper part of the shaft, specifically twisting the tongue around the corona. It emphasizes deep breaths, finding a rhythm to coordinate it all.
Overloading the senses, that's the goal. And that tip about switching hands is very practical.
It really is. This one highlights how multisensory stimulation can create a really intense, full-body pleasure. Needs coordination, maybe practice, but the potential.
Wow. Let's add some fizz. The champagne BJ.
Ah, yes. Incorporating champagne for that tingly sensation.
Is spilling a concern?
They thought of that.
Right.
Recommend positioning to minimize mess. Him leaning against a wall, you kneeling.
Practical. Okay, what's the technique?
Starts with running wet lips over his balls, then playfully licking the head like applying lipstick.
Cute detail.
Then take a sip of champagne, don't swallow. Take them into your mouth, let the bubbles pop, create that tingle. Gently twirl the liquid around in your mouth while you keep sucking. The unique bubbly sensation and that lipstick thing are pretty memorable. The novelty factor is definitely high. That carbonation tingling on nerve endings could be surprising, maybe really arousing. And yeah, the positioning makes it less messy, more fun.
All right, technique 12. Surefire sweet spots. Back to anatomy.
Yes, focusing directly on 2 key sensitive areas. The perineum, the million-dollar point, and the frenulum, the F spot.
Stimulating both at once.
Simultaneously, yeah, it's a combination. Sucking on the penis, a specific J-shaped tongue sweep on the frenulum, and an oval stroking on the perineum with 5 lubed fingers.
Wow, okay. Positioning.
Suggest side by side on the bed for easier access.
So you start sucking rhythmically. Right.
As you reach the upper shaft, tongue does that J shape on the frenulum. At the same time, other hand strokes a perineum in that oval pattern.
And keep going through orgasm.
That's what it says. Continue the coordinated stimulation. The intrigue is that direct, simultaneous targeting of known hotspots.
Reinforces knowing the anatomy, right, where those nerve endings are concentrated. Combining oral and manual on key spots, very deliberate strategy.
Exactly.
Okay, next up, catch and release. Sounds dynamic.
It is. Alternating strong upward suction with a gentle downward release, creating contrast.
And there's a mental image component.
Yeah, the book encourages imagining you're drawing all his sexual energy into your mouth with that strong upward pull.
Okay. How does it work physically?
Lower your lips as far down as comfortable. Strong upward suction all the way to the tip.
Good.
Release the strong grip at the tip, but keep lips softly resting there. Then gently breathe out as you move back down the shaft. No suction.
That contrast and pressure plus the imagery. Interesting.
Yeah, that variation, intense suction to gentle release, can be teasing, really pleasurable, that push-pull. And the energy thing adds a sort of sensual layer.
Technique 14. Tongue and groove. Focusing on the tongue.
Primarily, yes. Wrapping the tongue around the underside and creating suction mainly with the tongue itself, not just the lips.
So the lips are just there.
Providing warmth and moisture, basically. The tongue does the heavy lifting for suction.
Position.
Him lying maybe legs off the edge of the bed, you kneeling. Then you interlace your fingers around the lower third of his penis.
For a firm base.
Exactly. Then take the top two-thirds into your mouth. Press your tongue firmly against the underside, letting it wrap around like a cradle as you suck. The finger grip helps keep a tight seal.
Interesting. Focus on the tongue doing the work.
Really highlights the tongue's dexterity and strength, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And the fingers provide stability, allowing for more focused tongue action.
Number 15, the boss. Similar theme to mouth screw.
Similar power dynamic, yeah. Letting him take the lead, guiding your hand and tongue movements.
So he controls stroke, pressure, pace of your hands.
Precisely. It starts with you verbally offering, kneeling, lubing your hands, interlacing fingers around his shaft, and explicitly asking him to guide you. Show me how you like it.
Okay, once the hands are right,
Then you tuck your head behind his balls, press your tongue into his perineum, and try to match the rhythm of your tongue to his guided hand movements.
synchronized.
That's the goal, the power exchange, plus the potential for a really synchronized orgasm. That's the intriguing part.
Underscores that mutual involvement, the pleasure in giving and receiving direction, and synchronization implies a deeper connection.
Well put.
16 is slip and swivel. Full suck, base to tip, but with a twist.
A passionate twist, yes, right around the corona.
Extra tension there, the ridge at the base of the head.
Exactly. So after some initial tongue play, maybe on balls and shaft, press tongue against the meatus, lower lips to the base.
Then suck upwards.
And about two-thirds up, you swivel your head so your tongue wraps around the corona, maintaining suction the whole time.
They call it a hottest pro secret.
Apparently.
Oh.
Adds a bit of mystique.
That focus on the corona, another nerve-rich area, shows real anatomical understanding. And the twist adds a dynamic, maybe unexpected element.
Could definitely intensify the sensation compared to a standard suck.
Okay, the ultimate indulgence. Alternating deep and shallow sucks.
Yes, and often combining it with changing your body position.
What's the pattern?
The key is the alternation. 3 deep sucks down to the base, followed by 3 shallower sucks focused around the head. And doing this in different positions can make it feel new each time.
How does the blow-by-blow go?
Starts with kissing other erogenous zones, then running lips up and down the shaft, the pattern, shallow sucks around the corona, then deep sucks at the base, swallowing each time
You keep alternating.
until he starts pulsing. Then finish with 1 final deep suck, adding firm hand pressure on his perineum.
That mix of depths plus the positioning advice stands out.
That element of surprise, changing stimulation, likely keeps arousal high. And adding perineal pressure at the end, a nice touch to potentially boost the climax.
Technique 18, the supermodel. This uses cheeks.
Yeah, sucked in cheeks like a pout instead of mainly lips and tongue for the suction.
An approach from the side.
Suggested, yeah, to help put pressure on the frenulum and maybe the dorsal vein.
Okay, how's it done?
Kneeling beside him. He's on his back. Press tongue against bottom teeth, lower lips to the coronal ridge, then deliberately suck your cheeks in, letting them envelop his penis.
Exaggerate the sucking in.
Right. And it describes finishing with a pronounced swallow at the tip, making a popping sound when you disengage.
The unique use of cheeks, and that name, memorable.
Definitely highlights how subtle technique changes create different sensations. Cheek pressure gives a different kind of grip.
Nearly there. Penultimate one. The goddess. Using hands to elongate the mouth again.
Yes, creating tighter suction for a supposedly deeper feel.
By creating that suction tunnel with hands attached to the mouth.
Right, and the book makes a bold claim. Deepest, tightest blowjob ever.
Wow. Okay, setup.
Blindfold him lying, legs off the bed,
Yeah.
you kneeling. Then you create the hand tunnel specific finger rotation, lots of lube inside.
Then lower hands and lips together.
Slowly, exhaling on his head first. Then suck base to tip, tight hand and lip pressure. As he gets close, speed up like 2 strokes per second and add a finger squeeze at the base with each stroke.
That detailed hand technique is really the core here.
Seems like it. The combo of mouth and controlled hand pressure probably creates a very intense, all-encompassing feeling. And those final squeezes might mimic orgasm sensations, amplifying pleasure.
Okay, last one. Number 20. Yes, yes, yes. Head movements.
Nodding yes and no while performing oral. Suggest trying it in 69 too.
How does the nodding work?
The key is doing the movements over different parts of his penis to vary things. The blow-by-blow paints a playful scene. Kitchen, heels, beads, him on the counter,
Theatrical.
a bit. Lube him up, caress thighs. then lower lips, nodding yes over the head, then halfway down. Then alternate yes and no nods with tongue flat on the head.
Full circles.
Around the corona, yeah.
Fun.
And finish with yes nods on the upper half while stroking the lower half with your hand.
The playful setting, the head movements, fun and engaging.
Really brings in a visual rhythmic element. The varied pressure and angle from the nodding offers different sensations. Adds spontaneity.
So, wow. We've covered a lot. As we wrap up this dive into techniques, for him, it's pretty striking, isn't it? Such a diverse range.
It really is.
Yeah.
From pinpointing tiny sensitive spots to using props, exploring power dynamics.
Right. And beyond just the steps, what feels like the core message.
I think it's a strong push for exploration, definitely. For open, honest communication between partners.
Yeah.
And just a genuine willingness to experiment, to find out what brings the most pleasure and connection for both people.
Exactly. So for you listening, we hope this maybe sparked some curiosity, perhaps a few ideas. Think about how these techniques, or just the spirit behind them, trying new things, talking openly, could maybe enhance your own intimacy.
Yeah. And maybe that leads to a final thought to chew on. As we explore new techniques, look for ways to enhance physical intimacy. How do we also make sure we're nurturing the emotional connection?
Good point.
That deep understanding that really enriches the whole experience. It's not just about the mechanics, right?
No, it's the intention, the connection behind it all. Something to think about.